Welcome back to Keys and Gears. I'm here with Bess Dixon, local real estate professional in Dallas, Texas. Mark Leisner, I'm a mortgage professional here in Dallas, Texas. So today we're going to have part 4 of the home buying process. Now we've gone through pre-approval, you've gone to shop for a house, you've told Bess what is it that I'm really looking for. You've gone and looked at maybe 10, 15 homes. You finally find the one that fits all your boxes. Bess has guided you to that one. Now, Bess, what do we do now? Now the scary part begins. In my mind, as a first-time buyer, I was scared. I was like, "Oh my God, what am I doing?"
Offer.
Yes.
Placing an offer.
What are we doing? How do we? What's the next step here?
Next step?
Walk us through this.
We talk about the 1 to 4 family, if it's a single-family home, up to a
Quadplex, so that
Quadplex.
means you live in one unit and have 3 units to rent out.
Rent. So
Right.
single family all the way up to a quadplex, or we are talking about the condo contract, which is a separate contract.
Or there's a third one, which is the new construction contract,
which is
right?
the new construction.
Could be any one of those.
All fair enough. I will say asterisks on the new construction. Most of your national builders like to use their own contract.
Yes.
Like to use their own contract.
Very true. But we're not going to get into all the
So we're not
details.
getting into
That's a
minutia.
lot.
So let's
But
just stick with the 2, the condo and the 1 to 4, and actually let's ditch the condo. Just be aware it's out there.
condo is a whole nother podcast,
Boom. Yes.
period. End of subject.
Yes.
So we're talking about single-family homes up to quadplex
And that is the 1 to 4 family offer.
contract.
Document.
Document.
I hesitate to say offer or contract
Right.
because until it's completed, it's just a document.
Correct.
Once it's completed and you send it over to the listing agent for presentation, that's when it's an offer.
And the piece
A
of
conversation opener.
sidebar, the piece of paper is written by Texas Real Estate Commission,
It is a promulgated form.
which means it's been vetted by an attorney, written to suit both parties, correct?
Correct.
It's not a one-sided contract. It tries to be very fair to both sides.
Fair enough.
In terms of,
Although it is mostly a buyer-centric contract.
it is. I have to agree with you.
BS on
Opinion-wise, we're not attorneys, but opinion-wise, I agree with you. It's mostly geared
And
towards
those of
the
you
buyer.
considering moving to
Protecting the
Texas, why did Mark point out that it's promulgated? That means, unlike those of you moving here from, let's say, the 13 original colonies, you do not have to have a lawyer. You certainly can, but you do not have to have a real estate attorney as part of your process.
Correct.
Which is a huge dollar savings, because as much heartache as people give sometimes to Mark and me about our hourly rate,
Right.
if you will,
Right.
we are generally significantly less
Yes.
than a real estate attorney.
Mhm.
So no, we're not attorneys. No, we're not saying you don't
Need one.
need one.
Right.
You can certainly use one anytime.
That's your
it's
prerogative.
just not an absolute must
Right.
in order to transact
As in
real estate
in other states, you have
Texas.
to have
In
you
other
have to
states,
hire
do.
an attorney. Right.
Right.
Here it's optional.
Because of our promulgated form.
Correct.
So we found the house, and we are now going to fill. And so part of the promulgated form is filling in the blanks on this currently 11-page document. When Mark and I started back in the day, I think it was like 7 pages.
In the 90s, yeah.
So we're having document creep, but
Right.
anyway, and it's about to be released again. So we'll see how many pages we get up to. But anyway,
Yes.
I digress. So it's 11-page document. It has blanks all throughout it, and that's the conversation we have is how do we want to fill out those blanks? Because you can be strategic. You do not have to, despite what you see on the headlines, the real estate headlines, news headlines, you don't necessarily have to be the highest offer to win.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to offer over list
Right.
to win.
Right.
You just have to be very smart and strategic in filling in those blanks to win.
And having been on your side of the table, there's a lot of trade craft that goes into crafting and a
Yes.
competitive offer. And we're not going to go into all those secrets because they are hard-earned secrets that you learn over the years of being a real estate professional and helping your clients win the deal, win
Means
the
I can't
house.
share them all with you
Right.
because I love
And-
my future.
and you know, and I think, you know, having that many blanks in a contract leaves a lot of opportunity, and you know, using that opportunity correctly requires a lot of homework on Bess's part as a real estate professional that you as the home buyer may not know about. And we're going to leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Because what you put in those blanks, you're going to guide your clients as to what to do with those blanks.
Sure.
And that requires a ton of homework on your end. So,
but something I will say, I'm going to throw you the ball,
yeah.
and that is, along with strategically filling out those blanks,
right.
it is having an important part of the gear of getting that yes from that seller is having a full-time lender that may not necessarily be a big box lender,
right.
someone, especially for you in East Texas, East Dallas, woohoo, in East Dallas, right. You have developed over the course of your decades of being either as a broker or as a lender, you've developed so many relationships.
Right.
You and I just had one recently
right.
that was multiple offer.
Yes.
We did offer at list. We did end up winning. The other agent, when I shared with her, I was sitting over an offer. And by the way, our lender is Mark Leisner with Edge Lending. She was basically like, hot.
Yeah.
Can I say
yep.
damn? Anyway, but she was pretty excited
right.
that it was you
right.
and not some no-name person.
Right.
So that's a very critical part too.
It is a critical part. The lending side is part of what I do for the home buyer is to introduce myself and them to the selling agent, who then has to turn around and say the right things to the owner of the property, because we don't get to talk to them directly.
Although, fun fact, we could legally. We could.
You could.
Traditionally, no one does.
You on the buyer side and the listing agent on the seller side are the go-betweens between the parties. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of a third wheel in the whole thing, mm-hmm. but it's very critical for me to have a good rapport with the listing agent.
Oh, for sure.
To win the deal in multiple offer situations, even in non-multiple offer situations. I had one the other day where I explained to the listing agent what it meant to be a VA loan, and he was very scared of going through that process because he had heard so many horror stories about VA, right? And I explained to him the background and what it meant and all the benefits for both seller and buyer. And so there's a lot that goes in on the lending side to introduce you and to make sure that you make the good first impression that then can be relayed to the seller so that they can make an informed decision as to, hey, this offer is on paper really good and we have a good lender they're working with. I think this is a really strong offer, is what the listing agent hopefully will say to the seller.
And going along those lines, what we're building is we're building that rapport of certainty
right.
and trust.
Right. Correct.
Between parties that have never met each other.
That's right.
Because a seller, they don't want to be showing their house for the next 180 days. Nope. They want to have some certainty of how they're going to be moving forward.
And the more they like you as an agent and me as a lender, the higher the likelihood of them actually accepting our offer.
Well, that's true. And
because
Mark just gave away one of our secrets.
Because you know,
don't be grouchy.
There's a lot of people on both sides of our tables that are not like us. So just
right?
I want to pat myself on the shoulder.
I would agree.
We
that
win the deal.
That would be a cocktail
yes,
conversation.
Yes.
Never going to be taped, but we could share some stories
That's
about that.
That's one of our superpowers is that we know how to move people from A to B, right? We're
I don't know if we know, but we know what not to do.
We
don't call names.
Yes.
Don't raise your voice. Both of those things we have both experienced from other professionals.
Like you said, we need some cocktails for this conversation. So, but back to what else?
We digress.
What else? So you've submitted an offer,
right?
Do you put a deadline on it? I hear that a lot from other agents.
Great question. Do you put a deadline on an offer?
Yeah.
I'm looking you in the camera. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because when I have my listing hat on, it totally sours the seller on the rest of your offer.
Why do you think that is?
It is the most amazing thing.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think all of us have a part of ourselves called our 2-year-old self that we do not like being told what to do.
Right.
It's my house and you're telling me what?
Yes.
And out the door it goes.
I agree with that.
Please don't do a deadline.
I would add to that this is a very emotional process for the buyer and the seller.
Correct.
And if you treat it like a business transaction, it does not feel right. This is not a business transaction. This is an emotional purchase.
Which I will share with you why until all parties are in agreement, which is the trigger that turns an offer
Right.
into a contract right. is when all parties have signaled agreement by signing. Dear buyers, an offer is simply a conversation opener, and that is key. Yeah. And that is, we're saying to the seller, hey, what do you think?
We're interested. We
think your house is pretty cool.
Are you interested?
If we wrote you a check for this amount by this date, could we have the keys? That's essentially what it is.
It goes back and forth.
Right.
Don't be
and
surprised.
Sometimes the seller is like, you're high as a kite.
Yep.
Try again.
Yep.
Sometimes the seller is like, you've insulted me so much.
Right.
I'm not saying
no matter what you offer me.
Yeah. In fact, I recently had a listing that I was well, hello, Bess, you were representing because I just said listing. Anyway, and we received an offer, and I was like, hey, by the way, in Texas, there is a law now that fairly recent that says sellers must respond within 48 hours.
Okay.
Or actually, the agent needs to respond within 48 hours saying, yes, they received it. Okay.
Yes. Acknowledge the receipt.
Most people are interpreting that as seller, you need to give some sort of response in 48 hours.
It's just acknowledging receipt of the offer. That's all they have to do.
That's the letter of the law. The spirit of the law is most real estate professionals are doing their darndest to
get a response.
To get some sort of response back within 48 hours.
It's the professional thing to do, in my opinion.
Sure. So, coaching my sweet seller on what to do, and he's like, here's the answer. No answer.
Right.
I was like, that's the answer. He's like, yeah. They have no idea what kind of property they're looking at.
Right.
And that was the end of that. So,
okay. So what I'm hearing you say is when it comes to the next step, follow my process, listen to what I have to say and take it to heart. You, the buyer, are in charge. Right?
Yes, because ultimately, you, the buyer, you're writing the check.
Correct.
Bess, as much as I love you, because we will fall in love. I did say, remember, in previous episodes that this is like a short-term marriage. For me, it's a long-term, lifetime marriage.
Right.
You're never losing me. I love you.
So
I'm not writing the check, though. You're writing the check.
With your experience and knowledge, though, it'd be wise for you to follow Bess's instructions, hopefully to the T, to the letter. But so that's the offer process.
Yes.
Then we're going to get to the next part of our podcast, which will be we're under contract. Now what?
Now what?
Now what?
Now
The seller has accepted.
What's up with this? Let's talk about this crazy surprise.
Yeah, so let's talk about the craziness we see every week in real estate. What do we have on tap today?
Holy cow. Well, this, obviously, it's a faceplate, and it is a quick and easy home update back from the early 70s. And it goes with this other quick and easy update to get this home that was built in the 50s. Update because most people, most home trends are every 20 years.
Right.
So this home was built in the 50s. And so this family decided to splash out and upgrade to the new 70s vibe with that faceplate and this copper backsplash. What happened in the 70s, specifically what happened in 1976, and you can nail most remodel nails that kind of fall in this genre as 1976. Why?
I don't know.
Pop quiz. To my German friend.
It was a crisis.
It was the 200th anniversary of the United States of America.
Oh, wow.
And the United States of America was suddenly all about colonial times. And so we got all woo-woo with copper pipes, copper. Also all things copper.
That faceplate looks very,
If you go back and look at it, look at now look at it, colonial times.
Colonial.
The wooden spoon.
Pilgrims.
The little bucket to collect your fruit and the
pestle and mortar
and check out the rolling pin because you're rolling out your own bread.
Yes.
The little wood hammer. Does you know what that is down there? That's a meat tenderizer.
Meat tenderizer. Hey, I use that.
Look at that. You didn't even have to watch the cooking show. I'm just telling you how it is right here. That top is the mortar and pestle. That's right. Because you used to not be able to buy ground spices. You went out and picked coriander and you smashed it, and it became cumin. Boom. I bet you didn't know that. Coriander is also cumin when you smash it. And smash it. So I feel like we should be singing a song.
A pretty easy, inexpensive fix for your house is to change out the faceplates.
And boom, updated.
and it's updated. The backsplash
Well,
usually
in the 70s.
backsplash usually is not expensive either because there's not that much of it.
Well,
right?
especially that one, because
Yeah.
that is like,
Yeah.
believe it or not, that's peel and stick tile. That's
right.
peel and stick panels. They're like 12-inch by 12-inch panels.
Right.
I can tell you that for a fact because I've ripped a lot of it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I noticed, real quick, and you can kind of see the Formica countertop that's in
Yes.
the butcher block.
Yes.
When that home was built, that probably was a different kind of Formica. It probably was pink with boomerangs. That would be the 50s.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Between you and I don't know how you feel. I wish they'd left the boomerangs, but it would have kind of contrasted with the fruit faceplate too much.
It can look
but
cool in
anyway,
some places.
there you
Anyway,
go.
there you have it. Another episode of Keys and Gears. Hope you had some fun. Hope you learned things,
Yeah.
and we're here to help you in your home
like and
buying
subscribe
process.
below, and you'll
Yep.
catch us next time.